Today marks the first day of Standard Bank's Business and Commercial Banking Conference. SABC News Economics reporter Nompumelelo Siziba standing by for us. Good afternoon, Nompumelelo. Let's hope second time's a charm.
Thank you very much, Mfundo. Yes, we are in Cape Town. We're at the Standard Bank conference looking at unlocking the potential, the economic potential on the African continent, looking at challenges and opportunities on the continent. Just coming from a panel just now on the issue of trade wars, I have with me Gulam Balim. He is the chief economist at the Standard Bank Group. Thank you so much for joining us, Gulam. So, the big topic right now is the issue of tariffs, trade wars, but of course there's a whole lot more that's at stake for the African continent. But let's start with the 30% that has been levied on South African products that are going to go into the United States from the 1st of August. We're hearing that the motoring sector, the steel sector, and other sectors, agriculture, are going to be really adversely affected. What is your viewpoint on this? Is this just a storm that we have to work through, and in the long run, can we overcome this situation?
We don't want to diminish the importance of the United States as an economic partner, and also we don't want to suppress the notion that 30% is insignificant. I think there's a few reasons for optimism. I think firstly, the trade wars and the surge in uncertainty does not appear to have suppressed global growth in the manner that many thought that would occur. And I think that's for a few reasons. I think financial conditions around the globe have eased rather than tightened. Inflation does not appear to be accelerating, and therefore central banks can adopt a somewhat more accommodative posture. And I think Asia generally has been resilient in the face of these trade war onslaught. So global growth is not generating the type of exogenous shock that could have been possible. And therefore, just Africa and South Africa seems to be imbued with some perspective of resilience in that regard. I think with respect to the 30% that you talk about, our sense is that it will end up lower. We think over the next 3 weeks, South Africa will work vigorously in attempting to present to the United States a business case rather than necessarily a trade solution. But even then, if it amounts to, say, a 10% tariff level effectively, yes, it will trim growth somewhat across the continent and in South Africa. That 10% is our terminal rate in terms of where we think the trade wars will find equilibrium. And the further reason why we're a little bit comforted is that the share of America, the United States, in Africa and South Africa's trade is in fact quite shallow relative to what it was, say, 20 years ago.
Let me come in there, Gulam. In terms of unlocking the potential on the African continent, we've just spoken about a negative. Yes, in the short term it's going to be negative, but unlocking potential, where is capital seeing the opportunities on the African continent to unlock potential? Where are we seeing the low-hanging fruit?
So low-hanging fruit, I think there's a realization that there is this arc of opportunity emerging. In other words, from Cape Town to the Middle East to the very far East, this consolidation of like-minded nations that are willing to forge a new rules-based order and greater level of integration in the face of this assailing from the United States. So some of the anecdotes that are surfacing is, for example, where South African firms are now replacing American firms in supplying Asia with goods. These are real outcomes that have just burgeoned in recent weeks and months. And even in the automotive industry, at least select automotive manufacturers may be able to harness opportunities born out of the frictions across the Atlantic. So I think that in as much as the United States could become less of an export destination over the near to medium term, and reciprocity is going to dictate that more American prosperity is going to be forged out of supplying goods to Africa. Let's call it the global north, excluding the United States. Forging closer ties with the global south is perhaps what President Donald Trump is also catalyzing inadvertently.
All right, Gulam, I think we're going to leave it there, but thank you so much. Of course, we are going to continue speaking with a number of guests here at the Standard Bank conference, really talking about unlocking the economic potential on the African continent and why are organizations like Standard Bank so important. If you have great ideas, you need capital to finance them. And so therefore, they play a really pivotal role in ensuring that we can unlock that potential on the continent. It's back to you in studio, Mfundo.
Thank you very much. That's senior economics reporter Nompumelelo Siziba out in Cape Town at the Standard Bank's Business and Commercial Banking's conference.